sharpens iron. That proverb is about pressure, strength forged by competition. Knowing that to become your best, you must be the best. And the best in collegiate gymnastics are right here in the ironworks of the SEC.
It's just so easy for her.
Oh, that's beautiful. There's no resting in the SEC.
All season long, these gymnasts have put everything on the line. Bodies.
It's another 10.
Hearts.
They love her. She loves them back.
And dreams.
The team is chanting 10 for a reason.
All with unparalleled artistry. The goal? Perfection. To set that gold standard in their sport. That's why you come to the SEC. To sharpen your iron against the best. To face your steepest challenge in the oh-so-ironically titled Big Easy. Welcome to the SEC Gymnastics Championship.
Welcome to New Orleans and the Smoothie King Center as we are preparing for the first of two sessions that will decide the team champion in the toughest conference in women's gymnastics, the SEC. Your teams in this first session are the 5th through 8th ranked teams in the conference, Arkansas, Missouri, Auburn, and Georgia, respectively. The second session coming up later this evening. Hello, everyone. I am John Roethlisberger, and I am joined by Olympic medalist and NCAA champion Sam Peshek. Sam, these teams got their work cut out for them in this first session.
Oh man, they do. But the goal for these teams is to dominate this session in order to contend with the teams competing in the evening. And get this, in 3 of the last 4 SEC championships, an afternoon team has broken into the top 4. So it's possible, but these teams need to be on fire.
They got to be on point. But let's talk about some individuals. We've seen the teams. What are some of the individuals we need to watch out for?
Well, Frankie Price from Arkansas has helped them set a new program record on vault, floor, and in the team score. They are a force to be reckoned with this year. Jocelyn Moore from Missouri has been a game changer for this program, and she scored the school's first ever 10 on vault and floor. Cassie Stevens is a grad student, and she's been so consistent for this Auburn team, both in her gymnastics and in her leadership. And Lily Smith is the freshman phenom we just keep hearing so much about. She's the first UGA freshman to score a 10 since 2001. She's a heavy hitter, and we'll see her a lot in today's competition.
Well, we are not navigating this alone. We have a third member of our team, Taylor Davis. She's got more on Georgia. Taylor?
Well, this season certainly hasn't been without its adversity for Georgia. Some early injuries to key veterans led to a lot of contributions from underclassmen. In fact, 22 of their 24 routines in last week's meet, all underclassmen. Lily Smith told me this week, acclimating to college gymnastics so quickly was challenging for our class, but we now view it as our advantage. Head coach Courtney Kupets-Carter told me, yes, we're young, but if we compete the way we're capable of today, we'll surprise people.
The best conference in the country is the SEC, and we're in the Big Easy, but winning it will be anything but.
Competing in the SEC is truly magical.
Everybody in the SEC is so awesome, so just whoever you compete against is great competition.
It makes me so grateful to be a part of such a competitive conference.
The more that we can be great competition for each other, the better.
I think there's nothing that compares to the SEC.
The work today. Session 1 has seeds 5 through 8, so the 4 lower-ranked teams in the SEC, the top 4 teams go this evening. And we're going to have 6 gymnasts compete on each apparatus. If you've watched women's gymnastics throughout the season, you know that the top 5 scores count. They can drop the low. If the team has a mistake, they can get rid of it, but don't have more than 1 mistake. Top 5 scores count. Also, we're going to have 2 apparatus going on your screen at the same time. You will get to see all the gymnastics. Gets a little busy, but we'll try to navigate you through that effectively. One big point, though, to note, Sam, is there's 4 judges on each event now. In the regular season, there is 2. 2 more sets of eyes. That's a big deal as we get into the postseason.
Oh, I am looking forward to that, and I know all the coaches here are also looking forward to that. There's been some creative judging across the board, and it's been a common theme that's been brought up in a lot of our coaches' calls. So having 2 extra judges just to validate these scores, I think is going to bring a lot of peace, hopefully, to this competition.
Creative judging, Sam Pesce. Do I need to ask you to elaborate, or should we save that for the podcast?
I think we'll save it for later in the show.
All right, here we go. The top-ranked team in this session is the Arkansas Razorbacks. Cammie Weaver will be getting things started for them here on vault.
You're going to see a Yurchenko layout pull she's been sticking for this season. Not a stick, but clean landing.
Cammie tore that ACL her freshman year. You can see that brace on there, but man, what an amazing comeback for an outstanding athlete. Missouri Tigers, they start on bars. The Auburn Tigers, they start on balance beam. And the Georgia Bulldogs will be starting on floor exercise. Sam, do you have a favorite place to start when you were a gymnast?
I think I like starting on vault. Olympic order, tried and true, just to end on floor. It's such an exclamation point, but every time you're starting on bars or starting on beam, the goal is to convince yourself it's the best place to start.
As I mentioned, Auburn is starting on balance beam, left side of your screen. Paige Zancan, will get things started. Kira Burns, I can get that out, starting on the uneven bars from Missouri.
Believe it or not, guys, this Auburn team was elated to be starting on beam, as they see here. They told me this week that when Jeff Graba announced they would be starting on beam, the entire team cheered. Not the typical response you expect, but this team has so much confidence in their beam lineup. They actually tied their season best 49.475 starting on beam at a quad meet last weekend. They were hoping to build off that momentum here.
Yeah, Paige Zancan is a freshman who's getting Auburn going on their first event, which is an interesting choice. You don't see that as much throughout the teams. Saw a break in her connection, those leap series, so going to be a deduction there. Not quite her best, but you have the adrenaline and the pressure of an SEC championships. You might see some funny things here today.
Kira Burns finally mounting the bar. They had to reset the bars apparently, but here she goes.
Beautiful Jaeger overshoot combination. Those are two release moves we're going to see a lot in today's competition. She had to wait just a little bit longer to do this bar routine, and for her to get up there and deliver, that's impressive.
Worth the wait.
Yeah.
Nails it. Kira Burns getting things started. Cammie Weaver led off with a 9.8 on vault. Here's Leah Smith in the 2 spot.
Another Yurchenko layout full, and they have worked so hard on the technique, going back to the basics, elevating their vaults to make those landings easier, and it's showing up.
First gymnast to go on floor exercise for the Georgia Bulldogs, Nia Howard, will get things rolling here.
Yeah, I'm particularly excited for this routine right here. She has not done one at all this season. Coming back from an injury, this is her first competitive routine of the year. Shy on that first pass.
I mean, what a moment to do your first routine. You get into the postseason at the SEC Championships. That's got to be hard.
Well, head coach Courtney Kupets-Carter was wrestling with what to do because she looked phenomenal in the practice day yesterday, and actually said that Nia cried of happiness because she was so excited for this opportunity here.
On the right hand of your screen, you can see our scoring tower. Each team and all the athletes competing on their event in this current rotation. So you'll see the scores as they come in live. Their team scores down there at the bottom.
Finishing double pike. Obviously the endurance and the numbers are lacking for her training, but good chest position there.
9.775 for Leah Smith. I gotta say, those first 2 vault scores for Arkansas, not high start values, but low, I feel like, compared to the regular season.
Yeah, I think that's what we're gonna see really come into play with the 4 judging panel, John. You might see scores that are a little tighter than what we've experienced in the regular season. Opening front tuck to the double back, and you just see her rotation, which I doesn't put her hands down, so saved herself a bigger deduction on that routine.
Courtney Kupets-Carter there in the background behind Nia, one of the greatest collegiate gymnasts in history. Over to the uneven bars. Raina Light now follows Kira Burns with 9.775.
She was out sick last week, so had some rest, back into this lineup. Remember, on bars, you want to see vertical handstands. Let's see if she can do it right here. Nice job. Finishing double layout dismount. They are 2 for 2, John, with those landings. Whitney Snowden there with the big hug. She has been a big part of the technique and the details here in this bar lineup.
Aria Brush now the second gymnast to go for Auburn here on beam. Paige Zancan, a 9.475. We talked about counting the top 5 scores. That score is one that Auburn absolutely will want to drop if they want to give themselves a shot of moving up into the top 4 after this thing's all said and done.
Well, if there's someone that you want next in your lineup, it's a grad student. Aria Brush has competed in the elite scene. She's competed at college. She knows what these pressure situations. Coaches refer to her as the unsung hero, and I've enjoyed watching her gymnastics journey because, frankly, you get what you see. You see what you get because she is so consistent and such an icy competitor, especially on this event. Finishing gainer full, and that is the routine you want to put them back on track here in this first rotation.
That first routine so critical in a rotation, but especially on beam, Sam. It takes a little of the pressure off the later gymnasts in the lineup. Auburn clearly in a tough spot there, but Aria Brush delivers. Now over to floor exercise. Sydney Fitzgerald is the second gymnast to go. Nia Howard led off with a 9.65.
Now I want you to watch this first pass in the box on the right. It's a Rudy layout step out. It's completely new for her this year.
Frankie Price on the left hand of your screen for Arkansas. Nicely done.
And Sydney on the right with a good first pass. About athletes resetting the tone. Aria Brush from Auburn was able to do that for her team, and Sydney Fitzgerald is hopefully going to be that athlete for Georgia here. Beautiful double back. Coaches say she's just been improving every single week. I think it's best that she could have done on that routine, and is definitely gonna put Georgia back where they were hoping to be.
Yeah, their first score, 9.65. Not a score here in an SEC championships you want to count. So Georgia, rather, like Auburn, going to want to drop that first score in this rotation. Sam, I'm noticing too, scores coming in a little slower. And is that a product of 4 judges versus 2?
This meet is so important, John. No one wants to get it wrong.
Amaya Marshall now the third gymnast for Missouri. Raina Light, a 9.825. So things building for the Tigers. And over on balance beam, Olivia Hollingsworth will be the next to go after a 9.85 from Brush.
Huge release move combination. Looked like she was a bit far from the bar, but that grit, she was not letting go.
It will be 3 in a row.
Took for it. It was close. Not quite a perfect stick, but celebrating nonetheless.
Sky high dismount. I don't think you'll see a higher dismount done in the competition today than that one that Amaya Marshall just did. Here we are with Olivia Hollingsworth on beam. Frankie Price 9.8 for her vault. 3 yet to go for Arkansas on that event.
You know, I asked Auburn's head coach Jeff Graba about Olivia Hollingsworth. I said, what can you say about her? He said, you know, honestly, not enough. She has done so much for this team this year.
He also asked Jeff what the secret weapon was for Auburn, and I think his answer was, well, not peaking too early. It's not been a perfect season for the Tigers, but they're hoping their best is yet to come here.
But there really really encouraged with getting some athletes that were injured back in these lineups, and they're thinking that today's competition could be their best team score yet.
Ashlyn Leclerc on the right hand of your screen for Georgia on floor exercise. Hollingsworth finishes up on beam. Nice score for Fitzgerald, 9.8 in the 2 spot.
Lots of twisting, out of bounds. So if you step over the line, that is a 1/10 deduction.
Dakota Essenpriest on vault for Arkansas.
Yurchenko 1.5. Whoa! So much juice. She's a freshman on their team, and you add the podium, which can add some bounce to your routines, and then you add the adrenaline from a really big competition.
And that is a big vault for Arkansas because it's a 10-0 start, and they are hoping their last few vaulters can really put up those big numbers. That one, unfortunately, is not going to be a good number for the Razorbacks.
Nice routine for Georgia on floor. A goal for them is to hit those landings better, and I saw the last 2 athletes really focusing on holding those landing positions, which of course is one of the key aspects the judges are looking for.
Ashlyn, a transfer from the University of Kentucky, a senior at Georgia now. Maya Marshall's 9.825, though a pair of 9.825s back-to-back from Missouri. Sienna Schreiber, one of the real mainstays, the foundation of this Missouri team. And Sophia Groth on the left hand of your screen for Auburn on balance beam.
Yeah, Sienna is one of those athletes that's really taken this program to the next level. Although she's recognized this hasn't been her favorite event, but coaches say she's starting to like it now, and I'd say after that routine, it might be one of her best.
Another stuck landing for the Tigers, making a statement here early.
Now I love watching Sophia Groth on balance beam. She is so animated up there, and if you look closely, she talks to herself out loud. I always see if I can guess what she's saying. Finishing gainer full off the side.
The first person to clap for Sophia was Sophia, and I'm here for it. That was fantastic. Did you hold that finish position though long enough, man?
Hey, I saw her lips count 1, 2, so I think she was telling us she held the finish position long enough. Finishing, look, she's counting. 1, 2. Love it.
She follows a 9.8 from Hollingsworth, so a 9.85 and a 9.8 for Auburn after that early miss by Zan Can. Now over to vault. Haley Klein, she's been a sensational freshman for the Razorbacks.
Doing it, Yurchenko layup full, got a, 1.5, got a 9.975 last week, so an athlete that's been stepping up for them.
Addie Wall now the 4th to go for Georgia on floor. Ashlyn Leclerc only a 9.675.
You see her slide that front foot. That's a deduction that the judges will be looking for. This is her first SEC championship since she's a freshman, and head coach Courtney Kupetz-Carter told us the best story about her, that she actually hadn't made a floor team before she had to do one for them. And when Courtney asked her to go in, she said, "Of course, I got you and I'm gonna make it." And that was her very first routine that she had made in a competition. So really goes to show you she is a gamer that you want in today's competition for you.
Veteran Cassie Stevens On the beam, left hand of your screen, Sophia Groth, a 9-9, first 9-9 of this session's competition.
I love watching Cassie Stevens on beam. She just is so light on her feet when she lands her skills. She also has a signature skill coming up here. Very difficult. It's always so impressive for me to watch her do this skill. It's just so hard. It's a front aerial to her knees. You just don't have much stability when you're landing on one leg.
Jocelyn Moore is going to try to keep things rolling for the Tigers on bars. Right hand of your screen, following a 9.875 from Schreiber.
That release move is huge. She's really known for her height on that Takache release move.
Good finish for Cassie Stevens. After that early mistake, they're rolling are the Tigers.
Not a stick, but a clean landing from Mizzou on bars, and you can tell they've been putting that extra work in the gym on those landings.
It's funny because you see him take a hop now, and it's like a disappointment because they set the bar pretty high, no pun intended.
Look how high that Takachev was. So much room before she needed to catch the bar. Just a little slide, not too big of a mistake there.
Hey, the Tigers are rolling on bars. Haley Klein got a 9.825 for that Yurchenko 1.5. Number 17 gymnast in the country on this event, Lauren Williams now.
Yurchenko 1.5, their best vault of the day. Arkansas needed her to deliver. She put it to her feet, clean landing.
They gave up a couple tenths, maybe a tenth from Dakota and Essen-Priest, who could have scored higher on her vault, but nonetheless, a good rotation for the Razorbacks.
It's interesting to note, too, that 5 of their 6 vault athletes are underclassmen. So they're still gaining experience in these high-pressure situations.
If you're looking at the tower on the right, the score that is slightly shaded, slightly lighter than the others, that is the lowest score for that team on that event. So if you're at home doing the math, that's the score that they would like to drop should the other scores be higher than that number. So keep that in mind. Got your pad and paper out and your calculator at home. That is what those scores mean. Jocelyn Moore, 9.85. Waiting on the floor score. There's a start value discrepancy. Judges talking about it. Things are slowing down there. Gabby McLaughlin now will be the anchor on beam for the Auburn Tigers. Again, this is a very good event for Auburn. They are ranked number 7 in the nation on this event. So you think strong start. They need a big score here. And this routine right now from Gabby, absolutely pivotal. You want to drop that sand can 9.475. She has an opportunity to do that now.
And you guys are in for a treat watching this routine. The performance quality. And remember, a beam is only 4 inches wide. So for her to perform up there like she's on the floor, like she's on a stage, every detail is precise. It is just beautiful. Open series, back handspring layout. I love how sharp she gets to those landing positions. It really puts an exclamation point, showing to the judges, I didn't wobble. Unfortunately, she did wobble just there in that connection. But the mark of a veteran athlete is when you do have a mistake, how can you make that not turn into 2, not turn into 3? Because this is a mental apparatus. She's doing a nice job staying focused here. Finishing gainer off the side, very nicely done. Just a little bobble in that lead connection.
Let's go down to Taylor Davis. Taylor.
Well, guys, another element of these podium meets that was just relevant during that judges conference is the separation between the competitor and her teammates. The team is down on the floor level in the corrals, and during regular season dual meets, you're used to your teammates being right alongside the floor to pull energy from. Head coach Courtney Kupets-Carter went up and told her athletes, hey, stay in communication, create your own energy, a different environment than what some of these young athletes are used to.
Yeah, she said that they talked about the energy. They've been turning the music up really loud at practice just to distract them. And of course, you mentioned the aesthetics of what you're looking at when you're on the podium, because everything makes a difference here.
Holly Snyder in the fifth spot for the Georgia Bulldogs. Addie Wald at 9.8. They need a big number here. They're going to have to count one of those 9.6s for sure. Right now, the 9.675 from LeClaire.
Double pike. You see the yellow flag in the background. That means she did in fact go out of bounds, which will be a 1/10 deduction.
So one gymnast yet to go for Georgia. That'll be freshman Lily Smith in the anchor spot.
In the air, it's good. Her legs are together. Just had a little bit too much momentum. Couldn't plant her feet on the landing.
So one of the biggest moments early in this competition comes right now. This is Mara Soli from Missouri. She has had to wait through that whole controversy on floor over here on the podium. Finally getting her chance to go now.
And she is just a natural bar worker. The way she swings and milks every position is stunning. Check out these handstands in her lines. She scored a 10 earlier this year and drilled the landing.
That was absolutely huge, Sam. I was watching the coaching staff talk to her before this routine. She had to wait a long time.
She did, but it didn't affect her. Look, her legs are glued together, and then her dismount is just like a dart straight to that mat. She's a veteran. It's her first SEC championship since she's a transfer, and she looks pretty comfortable out there, John.
Absolutely. Shannon Welker said he heard she made transfer. He kept his eyes on the portal, and her name popped up, and he went in. She is from the Netherlands, and man, what a great addition for the Missouri Tigers. Transferred from Long Island University. We were there for that 10. That was a fun one. This one looked an awful lot like that 10-0 she got. I don't think it's going to be a 10 today. Scores are definitely tighter than the regular season.
But she's an athlete, like you mentioned, that has textbook gymnastics, meaning her legs are together, her toes are pointed, and every detail is dialed in. So regardless, it's going to be a big number for Missouri.
Here we go with freshman Lily Smith in the anchor spot now for the Bulldogs, following a 9.725 from Snyder.
She has such nice extension on all of her tumbling passes, her leaps.
Peter Soli from Missouri, a 9.95, the biggest score in this first rotation.
Rudy, which is 1.5 twists, straight into a jump. No problems there. Georgia needed a good score to replace that 9.65, and this is definitely going to better that.
absolutely needed a big number there. Peter Soley, as I mentioned, got a big number on bars with a 9.95, and Taylor is with what I expect to be a very happy head coach.
You expect correct, John. Well, Coach, a strong start for your team there on bars. You have the lead after one rotation. How important was it to start off on the right foot?
Yeah, I think that's one thing we focused on this week, was making sure that we came out strong and just control the energy more than anything. And so really excited for them. I think we have 4 or 5 sticks to start, so that's something we really wanted to establish early, and really proud of them, and we're excited to get to our next rotation.
On to the next. Best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Shannon has done a tremendous job as the head coach over the Missouri Tigers, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that journey he's had in Columbia.